Did you foresee, I mean, this is different than the GFC in the sense that you have sectors in our industry that are on fire. The single family business, logistics, infrastructure, manufactured housing, self storage. And on the other hand, you've got industries on their back from a cash flow perspective. Seniors housing, as you said, retail, hospitality, even the office business, maybe outside of life science. Did you or did many people really appreciate this was going to be fundamentally different than the GFC?
I think most people thought it was just going to be another cyclical recession.
Right,
That
right.
is one, and I think a lot of them are still thinking of it as a cyclical recession, that we're going to come out of it. And this whole stimulus kind of is we're coming out of it with traditional stuff, as opposed to, no, 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 this is not a cyclical recession at all. You have to craft very different policies. I did a web broadcast, I think it was on March 24th last year. It was my birthday. And we posted it. And
March 24th is your birthday?
yeah,
March 22nd is my birthday.
March is a good time,
Where
all
if it
the,
comes to springtime, buddy, that's a good thing.
so, but I remember that, and I got about 80% of the stuff right. Namely, it's not a typical recession. You're going to have to deal with it very different way. But I will say, I got completely wrong single family housing. I thought it would collapse, and I made the comment, without a job, without confidence, and no down payment, how can single family housing hold up? And what I missed was about 80% of the economy still had jobs, just roughly, right?
Right, right.
And after a couple of months, they realized that their sectors were going to be okay. We didn't
Hmm.
know that in March, but their sectors were going to be okay, and we all weren't going to be dead. And the third is they had their lifestyle changed, and they had
Hmm.
all this savings flooding in. So here I was thinking they're not going to have a down payment, and the fact that they had all this savings flooding in because their vacation was canceled and so they suddenly looked around and said, I'd never adjusted my lifestyle to get that money, but the world adjusted my lifestyle. I have enough for a down payment. I didn't see that coming at all. And that's what radically changed that sector. So it's a good example where once I understood what was going on, or at least I think I understood what was going on, I can kind of figure out the strategy. But it's a good example of I probably mapped over savings usually plummet during a downturn.
Right, right.
And this time for a lot of people, they skyrocketed during the
Right.
downturn. And so I missed that. And it's a good example of even if you're thorough, if you will, in your strategic thinking, you got to admit you're going to fail a lot. Um, Even if you're quite good at it, you're going to fail a lot. And then I think one of the lessons about strategy is the best made strategy can be wrong for whatever reasons. You better adjust. So my thinking adjusted pretty quickly to what was going on.
Right. One final question on strategy, Peter, and then let's turn to governance. People talk about, strategists being great visionaries and innovators, right? Innovators in particular. Given the globalization of our business, how doable is innovation, do you think, as it relates to continuing to build and grow these companies?
I think innovation is mostly at the margin. Everybody likes to think of the big breakthroughs, but if you read the history of big breakthroughs, they tend to be very incremental. You read the history of computers and the big breakthrough, and then you go back and you read they were already noodling about it in the 1860s and machine learning and so forth. So most, in my experience of an observation, most innovation is incremental, but that doesn't mean it doesn't achieve a lot, right? It achieves a lot.
Right.
And I, one one of the best property people I ever knew, I was walking around one of their truly innovative buildings. And he said to me, people think it's genius that there are these eureka moments. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just a lot of paper that we throw in the wastebasket before we improved it. And anybody can make something different, just turn a building upside down. That's different, but it's not productive. So
Right.
most of it is the product of hard work, and learning what others did. I think I'd end my little on that, Bill, by saying if you don't know what others have done and how they've failed and how they've succeeded, it's hard to be creative. It's hard to be innovative. Because,
Learning from history, right?
yeah, huge,
Yeah,
huge.
absolutely.